Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid. In this video, we're going to talk about the dreaded P0741 code, which is torque converter clutch circuit performance. And in order to fully explain this code, we're going to need to go over to the dry erase board. Every time I do one of these, I'm reminded of how bad of an artist I am, so you'll have to forgive me, guys. Anyway, this is going to be for a ZF 5HP19 transmission, if I didn't mention that before. This is not a common problem that happens with the GM transmissions as far as I know. So imagine, if you will, that you have two desk fans. One of them is plugged in and turned on, and it's blowing air over one that's not turned on. What's going to happen to the one that's not turned on? Well, it's going to start spinning around too, because the force of that air moving over it is going to cause it to turn. That's the basic concept that's happening inside of a torque converter. Except instead of air, we're using fluid. So the entire torque converter, the entire housing of the torque converter is actually bolted to the flex plate, which is connected directly to the engine's crankshaft. So it's always turning at exactly the same speed that the engine turns. Built into the torque converter housing is going to be our first fan blade, basically. And that's going to be called the rotor. That's always turning, and that's actually causing the fluid to actually move around to the other side of the torque converter and pass over the blades of what is called the turbine. The turbine is going to be splined with the transmission input shaft. So that fluid is basically our air that's passing over the blades, and that's actually causing them to turn, and that causes the transmission to turn. The problem with this process is that it's a little bit inefficient. There's always going to be a little bit of loss between this side and that side. So when you've got up and going, you're at speed, let's say you're on the freeway and you don't really have to change speeds. When you're going at a steady speed, what you want to do is you want to lock the two halves together so that you have no more losses inside of the torque converter. And that is the purpose of the torque converter lockup clutch. And that is exactly what it is. It's actually a little clutch disc that gets engaged. There is a little piston right here. That's what's in green. That piston is going to be pushed this way. On the edge of the piston, there's going to be a little clutch disc. And then on the housing of the torque converter itself is going to be another clutch disc. And when the piston is pressed in, the two clutch discs touch. That locks the two together. That's going to lock the transmission input shaft to the outside body of the torque converter. That locks the two together. And there you have your torque converter lockup clutch. Now, the way that works is that hydraulic fluid is going to be passed in through the center of the input shaft, and either it's going to exit on this side of the piston and press the piston in and engage it, or it's going to exit on this side of the piston and press the piston the other way, disengage it. There's actually going to be a little bit of, there's a little oil seal right on the end of that input shaft right there to prevent the fluid from escaping from that chamber once it's engaged. And what happens is that seal blows out. It deteriorates, it gets damaged, and it no longer does its job. When that seal is gone, the piston can no longer engage, your torque converter lockup clutch cannot work. So that is the problem, and the reason that it happens, we think at this point, is it's being caused by pressure spikes from the transmission, the pressure regulator that's inside of the valve body. I've actually done a video recently about how to install an upgraded pressure regulator valve to prevent this from happening again in the future. But the point of this video, the point that I want to get across, is that even if you do that fix, it's not going to fix your torque converter because the seal is already blown out. The only way to fix this, unfortunately, is to replace the entire torque converter. There's no way, I'm sorry, there's no way that you can just remove the torque converter and replace the seal yourself. It's impossible to do that way. The torque converter actually has to be cut open, and then it needs to be rebuilt on the inside. It needs to be re-welded back together and then balanced. Only a professional torque converter rebuilding facility can do this. So the answer is you need to replace your torque converter. I'm going to go ahead and leave some links down in the description to places where you can find a remanufactured torque converter or just a brand new one if you want to go that route. Another question you might have is, what are the further symptoms of this problem? Is it just that I get the P0741 code? No, there's another symptom when your torque converter doesn't lock up. Basically, when you're going 80 miles an hour on the freeway If your torque converter lockup clutch was working, your RPMs would be around 2,700, 2,750. And if the clutch is not working, your RPMs are more like 3,000, which means that you're going to be getting slightly worse gas mileage on the freeway. But other than that, you can still drive your car without a torque converter lockup clutch. You can, it's still fine. It is not something that you absolutely have to do and have to replace. You're just getting slightly worse gas mileage. However, the reason that your torque converter seal blew out is because there's wear in your pressure regulator valve body, and I would highly encourage you to get that fixed so that you don't have a further problem of your pump bushing spinning out or your DG drum breaking apart, because if you have either of those two problems, you're dead in the water, you can't drive the car anymore. So you need to, I definitely would encourage you to check out my video on replacing that transmission pressure regulator, because it's pretty easy and almost anyone can do it. So consider yourselves warned. If you have this code, your transmission is in imminent danger of failing in a more catastrophic way. Install that upgraded pressure regulator. I mean, I don't mean to scare you, but I do mean to scare you. So now that depressing news is out of the way, let's do a little unboxing of mail that we got. This is actually from Niev Healy. I had to look up how to pronounce that name. Thank you very much, Niev. A couple of you guys wanted to contribute parts to my to the 325 CI build that I'm doing. I guess it's called a build at this point. And somebody's sending a radio, and I do believe this is a coolant expansion tank, which is really awesome because we do need a new one, and this is a new one. So that's pretty awesome, man. Totally unused, ready to go. We're definitely going to use this, and it's good that you've sent this to me, Niev, because the coolant, the ATF coolant temperature, what is it? It's a thermostat that actually goes in here. That actually, I didn't have that available when I put the 325 CI back together. So I need to actually redo it anyway, because I do have that part now. So there we go. We also got a pulley in here. Oh, cool. This pulley is actually bad on the car as well. So wow, thank you for that. And then there is, of course, what Niev told me. Hey Jason, I hope this reaches you in one piece. We'll be glad that they are put to good use. They were gathering dust, literally. I rinsed out the bottle. Thanks again for all your videos. I really enjoy them. Kind regards, Niev and Alexi. And then this is from Alexi. To Jason, Mommy and I like your videos and fix our BMW. From Alexi, age 5. Look at that, man. That's so cool. Thank you so much, Alexi. That's really nice of you. I really like this. Very neat. So that's me. Nice. Really cool, man. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for the parts. Thanks for the letters. And thanks for watching. So I think I'm going to have to get a P.O. box just so you guys have the ability to send me stuff, because more and more people are wanting to send me stuff. So I think it's probably about that time. So I will make that address known somehow, post it somewhere, I don't know, on the About page and something. I'll make it available in case you want to send me stuff. I don't even know what. I don't know, parts to help with the builds or tools. I don't know. I love tools. You can send tools if you want to. I don't know. Whatever you're going to send, I'll get one so that we can do that. And furthermore, I think I'm going to, I get asked a lot of questions and I have to answer them repeatedly. That's what this video was. This was a video answer to a common question that I get asked. This is something similar to what Charles, the Humble Mechanic, does. And I think it's a good idea because I'd rather have that video and have the ability for you to search for that problem and that solution, and so that at least you can get the information that you need in order to solve that problem. It might not be a fixed video, but it'll be the information that you need for that video. So I'm probably going to do more videos like this in the future, and if you have some questions that you need answered and such, put them in the comments below, and I will be making a list that I can do lots and lots of videos on. And it's probably not just going to be every Wednesday. I'll try to do them as often as I can if I get some good questions that warrant a good video. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please toss me a subscribe. I'm the 50s Kid. Thanks a lot for watching.